The Dukes of Dice are brought to you by Arcane Wonders, Game Toppers, Bracketology, and listeners like you.
Welcome to the Duchy. It's time for another episode of the Dukes of Dice podcast, a proud member of the Dice Tower Network.
Coming to you from the Duchy in the Duke City, Albuquerque, New Mexico, and the Gateway City, St. Louis, Missouri, it's the Dukes of Dice, a podcast about board, card, and occasionally role-playing games. Today, Dukes bring in the Board Together Games podcast to play a board game deathmatch featuring licensed IP-based games. And now, the Dukes of Dice.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. This is Sean.
And Alex.
And this is episode 224, The Devastation in the Duchy.
Sunday.
No, it's Thursday, Alex. It's Thursday right now. Or if you're listening to this on release day, it's Monday. But yeah, that episode title is thanks to our buddy BJ over from Board Game Gumbo. Because when you've got like the Devastation, or you've got like the Devastation in or something, it's like a boxing reference, right?
Yeah, it could be. It could be boxing. It could be, I guess, monster trucks, maybe? That's sort of what I was implying with the whole Sunday thing. But I don't know. It all works.
And of course, we're going to be joined here in a little bit by Board Together Games for a board game deathmatch. So that's where that title suggestion comes from, or is referencing, I should say. And of course, we get help naming all of our episodes from our amazing Board Game Geek Guild members. We are guild number 2008. And there's some runners-up that we'll be telling you about at the end of the episode. So before we head over to the deathmatch, Alex, how you been doing, buddy?
Well, Sean, I've been doing relatively well. It's warmed up here in St. Louis. It's kind of low 60s, low 70s in that range. It was cloudy today. Times are lovely. I have ordered a large number of games, primarily from Miniature Market. Nagaraja, Stellar, I have Mandala on the way. I am buying more games than I am accustomed to buying. It's strange. It's really strange. But Abby's indulged me and has been playing them and helping get stuff off the shelf of shame. And Sean, I would have loved to share more about that, including how I finally played Mord Imarosa and talk a little bit more about Nagaraja, a lovely two-player game that will make you feel like Indiana Jones if Indiana Jones had an arch-rival, Kentucky Johnson, who he continually liked to mess with in various ways. I'd love to tell you about both of those games, Sean. But plans change sometimes as we go about these things. In the Dukes on Deck thread, I had referenced that we'd be talking about recent plays and news, and then we'd have the Board Game Deathmatch. The trick is, the Board Game Deathmatch, which we have already recorded at this point to kind of pull back the veil, was a ton of fun. It was also a ton of time. It was a long one.
Yeah.
And poor Sean Ramirez, attorney at law, who was already in one of the most stressful times of his life, and I'll ask you about a bit more about that in a second here, Sean, is about to have one heck of an edit in front of him. Because as you're about to hear, there are not two voices, not three voices when you might have a guest, not even four, but 5 total people appearing on the podcast, and Sean has to figure out some way of making that work.
I'm a little nervous.
You should be. So we had a ton of fun, as you'll hear, and we'll get into all that. It was a lovely time, an awesome game. I'm so glad we brought them over. But yeah, even though I filled out a nice news section, it's gone. We were going to talk about Kickstarters. I might have mentioned my buddy Josh Lobkowitz here in St. Louis just launched the Great Barrier Reef card game, which should be live now when this episode drops. And I would have also mentioned the Lords of Vegas 10th Anniversary Edition with Sean. You are backing, yes?
Yeah, I backed the one expansion. I don't have the Underworld expansion.
Yeah. And looks really interesting. So that's a classic Duchy game. That is an early favorite of the Dukes of Dice. And still holds up, having played it relatively recently.
Yeah,
game
I played
is fantastic.
it the last couple months. Yeah.
So give that a look. Give those Kickstarters a look. That's all well and good. But we just don't have the time, and I feel so bad for Sean. So fair enough. Sean, how is life? Dukes of Diet, law firm update. What's cooking?
Dukes of Diet. I think I was at 259 last episode. I'm currently at 262. It's a struggle. We just had Chewy's birthday. She just turned 6. So that was a day of lots of food and cake and pizza. And even though I was trying to rein it in, yeah, it's been hard. It's been really hard. And like I said, as long as I'm kind of hovering around the same, as long as I'm not going significantly up, I'm not super discouraged. So it's fine. Yeah, it's been super busy. I've been pretty stressed out. We were chatting about whether to play D&D this last Monday, and I was just like, guys, I am not doing great. I'm really not. And part of it is I'm down here in the basement all the time. I think I mentioned that last episode. And the thought of staying down in the basement that night much longer than I needed to was just not appealing to me whatsoever. Just not. I've been struggling. I've been struggling, and like I've mentioned before, we're super busy, which is great. I can pay my employees, which is great. Not everyone's in that situation, so I'm very thankful for that. But it's been a pretty rough time. So,
yikes! Yeah, I do feel grateful that the office I have here is upstairs. Partly because I don't have a kid running around the house. That helps. But yeah, we get a little bit of sun in here. And I know it makes all the difference in the world to me, so I can't imagine working that much time in that environment. It's got to be pretty rough.
Yeah. So,
but
I'm soldiering on, Alex.
Not to get into any game specifically, but have you been playing anything new?
No, not really.
Okay.
I skipped. So last week, Dukes of Dice Wednesday night, I skipped altogether. I didn't even want to do that. I've played a couple games asynchronously, but it's been Puerto Rico and Zolkin and Russian Railroad. So yeah, no, nothing new.
Awesome. Well, very good. So we're going to ditch recent plays. We're going to ditch news. It's going to be a different format, but I will tell you, just based off of the recording we just had a little while ago, I think the Duchy is really going to like this game. I think it turned out really well, Sean.
Yeah, sure did. So let's hear a couple words about our sponsors, and then we'll head on over to the death match at the end.
Well, Sean, in these tricky times, our friends at Game Toppers want to let folks know that they're still open for business. They're still doing what they can to provide some at-home gaming goodness to help people upgrade their gaming experience while they're trapped at home. So Late Pledge Manager is open on Game Toppers. They have a lot of great bundles on their website, some of which might sell out, so check it out before it gets too late. Also, mats are going to be able to be shipped out relatively soon, so if that's something you've been looking for, hey, great.
Wait, speaking of mats, Alex.
Yeah, I was going to say, we have something very special that Game Toppers has offered us to be able to do.
So the Game Topper mats are these 3mm thick premium mats. They're woven around the edges so they're not going to fray. And our buddy Berkey gave us one that we can give away to one of our amazing listeners. Specifically, it's one of the dungeon mats, which adds a nice little ambiance to your dungeon crawl game of choice. And this fits the Watson table. So give us the size specifications, Alex.
It's 38 by 60 inches.
Perfect. 38 by 60 feet. And if you don't get a 38 by 60 foot mat, tell Berkey what's the deal, man. Inches. So, Alex, how are we going to give this one away?
Well, Sean, if you go to our Board Game Geek Guild, we are going to have a thread there. And all you have to do, if you want to be entered, is to write a comment on the thread. It can be any comment. It could be, I want to enter. It could be, Alex, you stink at Baseball Highlights 2045, first mention. It could be any number of different things. All you have to do, though, is find that thread on our Board Game Geek Guild. Subscribe to it while you're there. Hey, maybe even participate in a naming contest or join in the discussions. But yeah, all you have to do to be entered is enter in a comment on that thread on the Board Game Geek Guild. I will say this, though. Unfortunately, due to shipping requirements, eligibility is only in the U.S. and Canada for this contest.
And this contest is going to close at noon Central Time on April 23rd. We'll be recording the podcast that night. So a little over a week and a half. So hurry as soon as you listen to this episode to go get a chance to enter into this week's contest.
Thanks to Game Toppers for supporting the podcast and for supporting gamers looking to upgrade their gaming experience.
So go visit them at GameToppersLLC.com.
Hey there, everyone. Future Alex talking to you, or at least more recent past Alex. We realized after we recorded the episode that we forgot to do the drawing for the Big Game Toppers prize, a contest we've been running over on the Guild. For folks who didn't hear our last episode, we are giving away a Watson-sized, premium-stitched dungeon mat, 38 inches by 60 inches from Game Toppers. Thanks to them for that. We posted something on the Guild. A bunch of people commented. Thanks to everyone who participated. And I just did the drawing. And we're actually giving away 3 prizes. We're giving away that Game Toppers mat. We're also giving away 2 secondary prizes, which would either be one game from my basement, or a game that I just don't want anymore that Abby wants me to get rid of, or a $15 gift card to Miniature Market if none of the games in my basement appeal to the winners. So, the runners-up, first one, I drew number 2. So the second reply in the thread was Nick Chem E, also known as @JohnnyUtah7 on Board Game Geek, who posted, "Consider me," commented, "Well, consider you a winner. I will be in touch shortly, and we'll see what we can do." The next number I drew, number 48, went to Michael Vanoy, Mr. Bungle 333, who posted April 13th, said, "Thanks, Berkey and Alex." Well, Sean too. Sean definitely helped with this one, not just me. And then the last number I drew, and it was weird that they kind of kept going up, number 61, which went to Sam Erickson, who said, "Good luck on the Golden Geek Awards. This is your year." Well, it definitely wasn't our year. We weren't nominated, but thanks anyway. Congrats, Sam. Despite us not being nominated, you are indeed a winner. You'll be getting that Game Toppers Premium Stitched mat. I will reach out to you in the meantime for contact. Thanks again to Berkey for letting us run this contest, and thanks again to everyone who participated. In these tough times, Arcane Wonders is doing what they can to try and make sure folks can still get their gaming fix while supporting their friendly local game stores. They are offering a discount on their website, and Sean, with that discount, they're doing something pretty cool.
Yeah, so if your local game store refers you to Arcane Wonders, or if you just like to help them out, you can enter their name, city, and state in the comment section of the order, and they're going to reach out to them and send them 25% of the total purchase price. There is no reason Arcane Wonders has to do that other than realizing, hey, these stores help the community, they help our, promote our products. So this is a fantastic way that they're helping out your friendly local game store.
So check out all of their great discounts. Again, everything's 25% off. Just go to arcanewonders.com and check out all of their latest games. Also, late pledges still open for Foundations of Rome. From Battlestar Galactica to Star Wars, from Star Trek to another space-themed IP. Well, we're not just talking space-themed IPs. Any IP, licensed IP goes when we enter the Board Game Deathmatch. 16 games, 4 contestants. Whose game will reign supreme? We'll find out.
All right, Alex. Well, like we've discussed, we have some very special guests from Board Together Games. Dave, how you doing, Dave?
Oh, I'm doing well. How are you, Sean?
I'm doing just great. Kathy, are you there?
I'm here. Hi, Sean.
Hi. I don't know why I said it like I didn't know if you were there or not. I knew that you were there. We've been talking offline for... Anyway, and Gerry, are you there as well?
Yes, I seem to be here.
Well, welcome very much. You guys did Alex a great honor by having him on your guys' show not too long ago.
Yeah.
And we want to return the favor, so welcome.
Well, and it also came out, I should say, as part of... I asked towards the very end of the show, hey, can we steal this fantastic game you're working on? Can we just out and out steal it? Is that okay? And Dave was like, sure, sounds great. And then afterwards he's like, no, I don't think that's a good idea.
You know what? I have since then kind of walked that back a little bit. We've discussed this before. No ideas are new. There's nothing new under the sun. It's a great idea. If people want to use it and run with it and it brings people joy, by all means.
There you go.
Hey, look, I would have been protective of it if I came up with something like this. Trust me. So I would have been like, hey, you better put the Dukes of Dice logo on every episode you use with this. So in any case, I'm actually happy to have y'all join us, though, because this was a ton of fun on your show. And I have a feeling this is going to get very interesting.
Very quickly.
Yeah.
With home court advantage, but more Sean's home court advantage than mine. Because as we'll discuss in a bit, I don't play very many licensed IP games. If I looked back on my shelf, I think I have 2, maybe 3 that would count and fit in this category.
I'm in the
That's it.
same boat. I'm in the same boat.
Okay, good. Awesome. Well, then maybe we'll swim together and knock out all the other players, Kathy.
There you go. Alliance. I love it.
Yeah, good luck with that. But I think I'm with Sean there. I do love me some IP games, and I'm a little more of a Ameritrash guy, so this should be good.
Now, David, since this is the Board Together game, can you introduce what is a board game deathmatch? How is this going to work? What are the rules? What are the stakes? What's the format?
All right. Well, think Sweet 16. That's the easiest way to describe it. So what we do is we are going to, first off, we're going to pick turn order, okay? Randomized turn order. And then in that turn order, in a snake style, each player is going to nominate games until we reach a total of 16 games. That is based on the category for the episode. So once we have those 16 games, we're going to randomize them into a bracket, just like you would with any other tournament, and we're going to match them up. And then for each matchup, everybody that's involved is going to have a vote for which of those games they deem to be the better of the two. The winner moves on. We keep paring them down until we get to a championship matchup. If there's any ties, we're going to break that, like any gamer would, with a die roll. We'll have one game have 1 through 3, the other is 4 through 6. We roll a die, winner take all, and there you go. That's kind of the premise.
Very cool. So we've discussed some rules and stipulations for licensed IP titles. We did this offline, which wasn't the smartest thing because it would have been a nice fun conversation on air. But effectively, we're steering clear of public domain. Now, I just realized in talking about this, does Lord of the Rings, is that public domain or is that
No,
is
it's
that
still
not?
part of the Tolkien estate, I'm pretty sure.
I don't think so.
Okay, good. Excellent. Not that I was going to pick anything Lord of the Rings related, but I'm sure someone will.
Never.
The idea, though, being that something like, say, Sheriff of Nottingham, while technically based off of an IP, doesn't work. I think what was the final ruling on Dungeons and Dragons related IPs for, say, Lords of Waterdeep? Are in or out?
Oh, I think it's in.
Okay.
I think it's in because it is a licensed product, right? It's different than public domain because they didn't have to get any kind of a permission to use that property. With Dungeons and Dragons, you do. So I would say that counts.
Okay. And unlike if anyone listened to the cooperative games version of this, if you pick a game from an IP, you don't get all the games from the IP. So Sean can't just jump out and say Star Wars and get every single Star Wars as much as he might enjoy doing so. So in any case, awesome. So I think step one here is to do a little bit of turn order selection. How are we going to do that?
Oh, I think we do it like we would normally do it. Gerry usually rolls the die for this as well. And what we do is we have each player just pick a number until we get first player, second player. And then when there's 2 left, each of them choose half of the die faces. And we figure it out from there. You got it, Gerry?
I do have it. So I'll tell you what. Kathy, give me a number, 1 through 6.
4.
Okay. Sean?
6.
All right. Alex?
3.
So just to make sure it's simple for me, I'm going to pick 5. So there you
go. There you go.
And the first roll is a 1. So that doesn't matter.
That doesn't matter.
A 5. I'll take it.
There you go. Gerry's first.
A 5 again. That doesn't work.
You're second as
A
well.
5 for a third time. That does not work.
Oh my goodness.
A 2. This is going way worse than normal. All right. A 4.
Woo! All right.
There you go. Kathy's second.
All right.
All right. Then Sean.
1 through 3 or 4 through 6?
Let's go 4 through 6.
4 through 6. Alex is 1 through 3. 2.
Okay.
All right. Alex is third. Sean, you are last.
And we are going to be doing a snake draft, so you'll get last and first of the second round.
Perfect.
Oh boy. I will say I'm feeling nervous about this because one, much like always with the Dukes of Dice, I didn't actually prepare. I prepared for the cooperative games one a lot. With this one, I didn't prepare. However, I will say I did get help on one of my picks, should it be available at the time. I won't say how I got the help until I need to make the pick.
I will say that I haven't played very many games like you, Alex. So what I did was I did a lot of research because I needed to see if there was any games that I thought I might enjoy. So that's where I'm going from.
That's fair enough. All right, so number 1 pick overall, and this is for Dave.
Oh, really?
Just for Dave. Yeah.
Oh,
The
no.
Godfather.
Oh,
no, I'm kidding.
no.
I'm kidding. It's Dave's least favorite game in the whole world.
Yeah.
But it's an IP that works, right?
It
So
is.
it's kinda-
It would work.
All right.
And I don't get a vote.
I'm gonna pick my number 1 of these overall games, and probably my 1, 2, or maybe 3 third favorite game in the whole world. And that'll be Star Wars Rebellion.
That's a
I
great
love that
first
game.
pick. Great first
It's
pick.
so
Yep.
good.
Mhm.
Yeah. That game, asynchronous play, and it's amazing. If you have 3 hours to play it, or 2.5, it's such a great game.
You know, I've heard tales of people who got really good at that game and played it a lot that could get it down to almost under an hour. I don't know if that's true, but
You'd have to. Wow.
yeah.
I have played less than an hour, but I absolutely destroyed the Empire. Like, I ran them into the ground in no time. So it wasn't even fair. But yeah, normally 2 hours at least.
Yeah. Well, that's a great first pick, man. Great
Sure.
first
Thank
pick.
you.
Kathy, you got to follow that now.
Yes, I do, but I think I'm going to follow it well. My first pick is Marvel Champions.
Oh, yeah. That one's going to cause some feathers to get ruffled.
You took the words right out of my mouth. That was my pick. I was going to
Yeah.
make that pick. I'm so annoyed. Oh, Kathy, I don't have that big of a pool to pull from anyway, and you just took it. You just took it right
Sorry.
from me.
Well, I mean, it's a fantastic game. It's getting a ton of buzz right now. Everybody's loving that game. Excellent expansion content coming out for it. And it's just good. It's just good. So
Absolutely.
the timing's perfect on that one.
I
Perfect.
would love to play it for sure. Yep.
All right. We are at our third pick. Alex, go for it.
Oh, man. Now, I was going to try and rely on the guild for a little bit of help here. And there was one game on the guild that was popular, and it's one that I agree with should be popular. Joshi and Gur picked this as his favorite IP-based game.
Oh.
And BJ from Board Game Gumbo picked this as his favorite IP-based game. So I feel like I have the Duchy behind me here with this one. I am going to go with Battlestar Galactica.
That's a great pick, too.
I've
That's
heard good things about that one. I haven't gotten to play it, but I've heard great things about it.
Or
You haven't played that, Jerry?
I have not played it.
Oh, no.
Oh, if you like trader mechanisms, wow.
I imagine, because I love the show. One of my favorite shows. That and Firefly.
Yeah, it's kind of the
Yeah.
OG for trader mechanisms.
That's awesome.
And it's great at replicating the feel of the show. It does a fantastic job of that.
Now I need to play it.
Yeah.
Nice.
One of the best sci-fi shows of the recent decade, yeah.
Absolutely.
Sean, what do you got?
So Rebellion and Marvel Champions, I think are kind of the no-brainer early picks, and I'm glad that they were selected because I was debating whether to vote or rather to draft with my heart or my head. So I'm going to draft with my heart. And my first pick is going to be Dune, the board game. Dune is my absolute favorite IP of all time, and I'm so glad that Gale Force 9 re-released it, that they were able to get permission to do that. I love the game. Alex should never play this game, right?
Not a chance.
You played Rex, which was Fantasy Flight's version of it.
Miserable. Did not enjoy.
No, you didn't. But I love Dune. All the pictures from the new Dune movie that just came out look pretty sweet. So yeah, Dune. I'm gonna ride that one to victory.
Well, you get to back that up with another amazing pick, Sean.
I'm the new head of the snake. All right, so let's see here. I've got my list. I feel like I need a smart choice. Because I don't know about Dune. It's good stuff. So I'm gonna draft Star Trek Frontiers.
Oh, that's another excellent one.
Mm-hmm.
So Star Trek Frontiers is basically Star Trek Mage Knight. And Mage Knight was like a top 10 game for a super long time. Great solo game, good at higher player counts as well. And this is the Star Trek version. So I kind of like Star Trek a bit too.
That's awesome. That's my second favorite Star Trek game. I'll not say what my first one is just in case somebody's, I don't want to give anybody an advantage. So, okay, Alex, you're up.
Well, this is rough for me in general, and it's going to be rough for not this pick so much, but the third pick. The fourth pick, I got locked down, I'm pretty sure. This pick, next pick, not great. But I have to go with what I know, and I have to go with something that I feel like I can pitch and argue for should it come up.
Absolutely.
And the pick I'm going with is Disney Villainous.
That's
That
a good
is
pick.
good. That is really good.
Yeah, take that, Kathy. How does it feel?
Okay, you got me back. Fair enough.
Yeah.
There's so much of that happens in this board game deathmatch where somebody will blurt out a name of a game and everybody else just, ugh.
Yeah. Dang it.
I wanted that to be mine.
I'm feeling good about my first 2 picks. I'm feeling good about those 2. We'll see, though.
They're both excellent, and it is now Kathy's turn.
Well, since you stole Villainous from me, I think I'm going to have to go with one that I did a ton of research on, and man, I think I want to play this game big time, is Star Trek Fleet Captains.
Oh.
Okay. Another good Trek
It's
game.
a good game. It's a very good game.
He steals from you, you steal from me. That's messed up.
Nice!
Man. Good pick. I've had a lot of playtime with that with some buddies of mine.
Yeah.
That's literally the only game aside from Monopoly that they will play.
Oh, wow.
wow.
We've played a ton of stuff. I've tried to get them into Star Trek Ascendancy, which I had them set up for a game, and then COVID-19 hit. And it took take me like 3 months to set up a game with them.
Wow.
So, yeah, it stinks. So now I have another choice to make. Oh. So I have a question.
Yes, sir.
While I can't pick the entire Star Trek or Star Wars IP, what if I were to pick a game that likes to slap a label over itself? I have one particular favorite of that.
Well, I don't know. That is definitely a gray area that there might be a flag on the field with that. Might be a flag on the field. I have an example that is probably not the one you're talking about.
Okay.
And that would be something like Sentinels of the Multiverse, where it's basically a superhero game. Think Marvel, think DC, but it's not Marvel or DC. Is that the kind of thing you're talking about?
No. In fact, I'll tell you what, because I'll eliminate it if y'all, throw it down. But I was thinking my favorite of the love letters, which is the Batman love letter.
That counts. Yeah. I would say
it's
that counts.
It's a silly pick.
That's fine.
I know, but it's kind of a heart pick instead of a head pick.
A little early for those.
All right. Whatever. I get another pick right away, and this one's going to be solid.
That's true.
Just watch it.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Firefly, the game.
Oh, that's good. That's a great pick.
Brat.
Mm-hmm.
What a great IP. I mean, if I was basing this, if I was picking a game and it was based on just how much you love the IP, that could be, that might be number 1 for me.
It's one of my all-time favorites.
I love
IP
Firefly.
wise. Mm-hmm.
Very good. All right, Kathy.
You guys are taking all my picks, and I don't have much to start with. Oh my gosh. Well, my next pick is going to be Legendary, the deck
very
building
good.
game.
Yeah. You're taking this all of the Marvel deck builders, aren't you?
I love Marvel.
Yeah, she does. I like that
Fair
pick. That's one of my favorites of all time. A lot of people have played that game so much that it's kind of played out, but in my book, it's still great. Okay. Alex, we're back to you, sir.
So here's the problem. Anything I pick, pretty much, I don't think I will have played. So
That's okay. That's okay.
Not ideal. But I'll pick something that I think could do pretty well with this crowd, even if let's go with Star Wars Outer Rim.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's a great one. We reviewed that one, and that's a fantastic play. I love that game.
I haven't played it.
Not as good as Rebellion, but it's fun. I like the sandbox style of it. You can be whatever. You can turn Boba Fett, and I think it literally says this on the back of the box. You can turn Boba Fett into a back to dealer, which is just meds.
That sounds like it's sort of, and I'm sure it's not, but it sounds like it's kind of Tales of Arabian Nights, but with Star Wars, which, by the way, would absolutely be amazing.
Yeah, it would. Yes, it would.
Yeah.
I could see that being divisive for people, though. If you're like a real Star Wars purist, yeah, that might rub some people the wrong way. But it is a good game. It's a great game.
I ended up getting Boba Fett just through randomizing it, and I didn't get his ship because somebody else took his ship. So I had to fly around on this like IG ship instead of Boba Fett's Slave One. I was a little disappointed in that. I actually went around and tried to hunt him down, and there's no way to steal a ship. which would be my only like pullback from that game. Anyway, fun game. Good choice.
It is a good choice. Sean.
Yeah, so is this right? Has there been no Lord of the Ring game yet?
Not one.
All right.
No.
Well, I think I'm gonna snag the best one here. War of the Ring.
I believe that is probably the best one.
So the full encapsulating trilogy, where there's battle and you're Frodo and Sam. I think that one's got some legs.
Yeah, I think so too. I do. Very good pick. Very good pick. And your last pick is immediately following.
Yeah, this is tough. So I've got three things that I'm debating between. One of them I feel like it has a pretty significant Achilles heel. Another one I feel like I need a Star Wars game on my list, but I don't know. And another one is a shout out to Matt and Matthew, but I don't know that I don't know. All right, you know what, Matt and Matthew, don't say I didn't ever do anything for you guys. Thanos Rising.
I was wondering if that one was going to show up on the list.
All right.
Thanos Rising is trash. It is a trash Marvel game, but it is amazing. Like, it has no business being as fun as it is. And it's just a super cool dice rolling game based on, the Marvel movies. And
I have heard it explained I have heard that game described in a similar way, but not quite so eloquently. So nice job.
Trash. Fun trash.
All right, Alex, it's time for your last pick.
So I own an additional game that could have fit the bill here, which is NHL Icebreakers. I'm not going to pick NHL Icebreakers. I'm just saying I have it, and even though the game itself isn't very good, it is fun. It is a lot of fun. I'm not picking that, though. The other option I had was a gift that I gave to Sean in the early days of the Dukes of Dice. One of Sean's favorite presents ever, which is the Star Wars VHS game.
Wait, what?
What?
Yeah, it's a. You have to listen to the early archives of the Dukes of Dice for this one, but I teased him about a big surprise for a long time coming.
Yeah.
And scooped this one up off of eBay, and
Wow.
Sure enough, it was a Star Wars VHS game featuring all new Darth Vader content.
Yeah.
You can find a YouTube clip of this game.
It's all canon, too.
Yeah, it's all canon.
That's amazing.
My favorite part of it is play Jedi, or like I detect rebels. No more than 5 of you. Something like referencing the player count. And it may or may not have been James Earl Jones who did the voice for this game.
I'm pretty sure it was.
Wow.
Wow.
But the worst part was when we played it, we were playing at Empire for Next Life, and we all had to pull out our phones and watch it on YouTube and sync it up on YouTube at the same time so we could play it.
It was a terrible idea. I think we played it at like 2 a.m, 3 a.m.
Yeah.
The game isn't very good.
No.
The setting was not great for it. So, as fun as that would be to have as my pick, that is not my pick either.
All right.
Oh.
Well, wait, did you have fun playing that game till 3 o'clock in the morning?
No, we did not. I would not say that.
No,
it's a
not
fun
really.
memory.
Yeah.
But not a fun game. No, honestly, actually not fun. Now, that being said, I did have some help with Abby, my fiance. I consulted her and I said, Abby, what is your favorite IP-based board game of all time? And she informed me of apparently the delightful 1960 Barbie Queen of the Prom game.
Oh,
Wow.
dear.
Okay.
Reprinted in 1994, which was
Whoa.
the edition she played, but with the original 1960 art. My pick is the 1960 Barbie Queen of the Prom game.
Okay,
Shout out to Abby, my fiance.
Oh.
hold on.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone ever for as long as Board Game Deathmatch exists to ever give me trouble for another pick that I make.
You mean like bingo?
Because
Like bingo.
hey, hold on. We're going to discuss that later. Let me go ahead and get this written down.
Kathy, I have an alliance with you. We need to force die rolls on this game.
This is an alliance? What happened here? Whoa.
Maybe.
This may
I'm
not be
saying.
legal. I'm not sure. I'll have to check the official Board Game Deathmatch rulebook.
Oh, that's
Oh
hilarious.
my gosh.
Board game deathmatch survivor style. What the heck?
Oh my
All
gosh.
right.
Now, as long as it doesn't get paired, if it gets paired up against Marvel Champions, I get it. But look, anything else? Just saying, give Barbie Queen of the Prom game a shot. I'll describe it when it comes up during the first round matchup to make my full case. But that is my pick for now.
Fantastic.
Hold on, I'm writing this down. Barbie, Queen
Queen.
of the Prom. All right.
Game.
Okay, I got it.
Game.
The game.
Rocking.
The dice game.
A very respectable 5.1 on BGG right now.
Wow.
Oh, that's
wow.
funny.
All right, Kathy. I would say try to top that, but I don't think it's going to be an issue.
Yeah, so that alliance you're talking about, Alex, I'm going to kind of have you work with me on this one too.
Okay.
Because I'm a Euro gamer at heart, and there's just not very many Euro games that are IP related, so I have to throw in a Euro, and I'm going to go with Walnut Grove.
I love that
what?
pick. Love it.
How is that an...
What?
Walnut Grove is based off of Little House on the Prairie.
Yes.
It is a
Oh.
farming game. It's a farming game. It's tile placement and worker placement, which I love. So I had to pick that.
All right, Kathy, you went deep
If I was voting, you'd have my vote. That's all I'm saying.
I know.
because you guys are siblings. I mean, come on.
Well, no, it has nothing to do with that. It's just that's a great game.
It is a good game.
It does
Really
have
is.
Clemens Franz art, and it is currently rocking a 7.0 on BGG.
See,
Yes.
not too
Wow.
bad at all. Yeah.
It's pretty great. I've played it quite a few times. It is very good. I mean, it's a light to medium weight Euro. Nothing necessarily groundbreaking, but just the way everything works together in that game is super fun. Very well done.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And Gerry, give us the final pick of the tournament.
I already took my weird pick, but I have an affinity and I tried to get it through in the co-op game, board game deathmatch, the Reckoners. Didn't make it as far as I wanted, but it got closer than I thought it would. I'm not going to pick that though, because I have to know my audience a little bit.
I was waiting for that.
No, I'm not going to pick it this time. And obviously Godfather. Actually, I probably could pick that and get further than if Dave was in this, but that's still not a one I'm going with. Man.
That's smart because
Yeah.
I would have tanked it too.
It's terrible.
Nice.
It really is terrible, but
Nice.
I don't hate it as much as Dave hates it. Dave despises that game. Anyway, I have Dragonfire, Jaws.
Oh yeah, you can spill the beans now. All the other picks are
I
out.
can.
Yeah.
I have Lords of Waterdeep still on here. I have X-Wing Miniatures on here, which I played a ton of.
Quit throwing names out there and waiting for responses. Just pick one.
All right, here's what I'll do. I'm going to pick the Star Trek game for my buddies, and I do like this. It's a quality 4X game, a little lighter, and it's a great playthrough. And I love the variation, how each species, each race has different ways to play the game, and that's Star Trek Ascendancy. I think
Yep.
that's a fantastic game.
It's been on my shelf of shame for a long time,
Oh yeah.
sadly.
It took me almost 2 years to get it played.
It's strange how that kind of thing happens. Well, when you get a game that takes that long and you just don't have the right people down at the table at the right time, it's going to
Yeah.
happen. But I really enjoyed it.
There's no heads up on it. It starts at 3 players.
Yeah.
You have to have 3 players, so that
Yeah.
makes it difficult.
Yeah. Well, there you go. We have our 16 games, you guys, for the Board Game Deathmatch IP-based board games edition. And we got some real contenders here. We need to randomize. So I'm going to take a few minutes to randomize. If you guys want to talk amongst yourselves, feel free.
In the meantime, though, might not be a terrible time to talk about what your podcast is about. Since folks are listening here, might be a good time to kind of spill the beans on what that show typically looks like. It's not all death matches and fun. So yeah, spill the beans. I'm gonna go grab a drink.
Yeah, your show isn't all fun, apparently, according to Alex.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's boring.
No, it's only about 20% fun. The rest of it is just pure drudgery. So
Mind-numbing
Yeah.
tedium. Tell our listeners about your guys' show.
absolutely. So yeah, Board Together Games. We have been doing this since about the end of last year. We have 16 episodes in the can. I would recommend not listening to our first one or two because they're a little rough.
They're
But they
amazing.
I
tend
think
to have gotten
everybody's
better.
is.
Episode 0 is my
But-
favorite.
It's terrible. Don't listen to episode 0. Anyway, we really just do a lot of the things that you come to enjoy. We talk about our lives. We talk about our love for board games. We each come from a different perspective on board games. And we like to review what we're playing. We all play together in the same board game group, which is one of the advantages there. So we can all talk about, well, when COVID-19's not happening, we can talk about what we have just played the week before and give our opinions. And I think the nice thing about it is that we all three have pretty differing opinions. There's two Euro gamers with slightly different tastes, and then I'm the Ameritrash guy who puts up with Euro games because, well, they're fun, and I like beating people at those games, so that's good, you know. And then, of course, we're doing the board game deathmatch. We have just put the third one in the can, and we try to have guests on there, and we just match up, and we put to rest, once and for all time, what the greatest game in that category is. All internet debate is over, and it is just, you can't argue anymore. Once we've laid it down, yeah, our greatest co-op game was? Actually, I'm trying to remember now. Oh, it was The Mind.
Yep.
And who was the great winner on that one? It wasn't me. That's all I remember.
It was you.
It was you.
It was you. What are you talking
I won the co-op game? Oh my gosh. This is how
Alex
good I'm at
remembers
this.
very well that it was you.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
I was very upset that I didn't get a chance to pick The Mind.
I got first pick that time. Yeah. And that stinks. And I do not fix the dice. I've lost more than my fair share of ties. So, yeah. And if anybody needs a video, I can show you the video when we get to the tiebreakers.
I did ask for video evidence repeatedly, and it appeared to be an honest die roll most of the time.
I am an honest die roller.
So yeah, and just for folks as we get to this stage, how this is going to work is we're going to have a matchup. We're going to take a little bit of time talking about the matchup. Maybe people might make their case or not, and then we will go around and vote, giving our explanations for the vote. You can vote strategically, or you can vote based on what is objectively better. The criteria is in the hands of the individual voter, although I would tend to encourage the spirit of the game. That being said, if Barbie's up, vote Barbie.
All the time. You know, personally, my voting criteria on this one has shifted a little bit. With the co-op games, it was usually games that I personally enjoyed or that I had been wanting to play very badly if I haven't played them. This one, I'm kind of a fanboy when it comes to like Star Wars, Firefly, Battlestar Galactica, even Dune. So even if I haven't played those games, I might vote for those based off the IP rather than having or not played the game. So
that is what makes this an interesting category, because
it does.
Sure.
Anytime, and that's why licensed games exist, right? Is because they're planning on you having a bias towards the IP,
Right.
and buying the game, whether you know if it's good or not. So
True.
I like to make the analogy of how video games have always done this. And there always are exceptions to the rule, but how many times has a video game come out based on an IP that has just been hot garbage, right? A lot.
Right.
So, yeah.
Or video games that are amazing made into movies that are crap.
That's
This is true too.
I have heard, though, that the Sonic the Hedgehog movie breaks that trend and is actually
really?
halfway decent.
My kids keep asking to watch it, and I didn't want to put up the $6 to rent it, but now I might have to give that a try.
It got like a 60-70% on Rotten Tomatoes when it came out. It stunned
All
me.
right. All right. And Jim Carrey is in it.
My kids laughed at the Pokemon movie that came out here recently. I didn't watch it. But
Detective Pikachu?
yeah.
That was actually a pretty good one. I enjoyed that one.
It was like PG Deadpool. So
Kind of, exactly. All the jokes were the same Ryan Reynolds jokes. You're so right. They just kind of, you weren't like plugging your ears for them, you know.
All right, our host with the most. Has the bracket been made?
The randomizer has spoken, and I have the matchups here. And to be honest with you, I haven't looked closely enough at it to know if anybody's going to be disappointed that two of their games get paired up together in the same matchup. And I will say right now, because we didn't before, is that can happen. So this is completely random. Doesn't matter if two of your games go up against each other. That's just, once the randomizer has spoken, it has spoken. But we are ready. Are you guys?
let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's do this.
All right. Well, the first matchup, and let's see, I need to write down really quickly here what our order is going to be. It's the same as draft order for votings, but instead of being snake style, it's going to be we'll just rotate or pass first player style, right? So it's going to be Gerry, Kathy, Alex, then Sean for the first vote. And the first matchup is Star Wars Rebellion versus
Better be weak. Better be weak. Bring me some trash.
Star Trek Frontiers. So big
Ooh.
IP versus IP right out of the gate.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, Star Trek Frontiers is a good game, and it's fun, but it's not one of my top 3 games of all time. So I'm going with Star Wars Rebellion. Also, it was my vote, or my pick. So
Very good. This is a good time to bring up another rule that we did not discuss earlier, and that is you're kind of committed to voting for the game that you really think is the best. Even if it's not the one that you chose, at least that's the way we play it. If we want to just throw that out the window right now, I really can't, what am I going to do? Jump through the computer screen and enforce some sort of rule? No, can't do that. So,
Kathy, Alliance.
Oh, man.
Here we go.
And it is your vote, Kathy, so go ahead.
It is my vote. All
I'm
right.
interested in what her vote will be.
Well, here's how I'm going to end up voting on this one. I have played neither. I'm not familiar with either of them, but I'm a Trekkie. So I'm going with Star Trek Frontiers.
Dirty. If this gets down to a die roll, I'm gonna flip the table.
Well, it'll put Sean in an interesting moral position here right off the bat.
Yeah, very true.
Because my pick for this one is going to be Star Wars Rebellion. I am more of a Star Wars person. I have not played either game, but I want to play Star Wars Rebellion more than I want to play Star Trek Frontiers. I have wanted to give that game a try at some point, sooner rather than later. Who knows when? I don't think it'd be one Abby would play with me, so I don't think that's particularly likely. But, someday at a convention, I would definitely like to play this. The theme looks like the game is just ripping with that theme and that feel. So that's my pick, and we'll see where Sean goes. Sean, you gonna vote down your own pick here?
Yeah, this is interesting. So if I were to pick as a game, which is better, I would pick Star Wars Rebellion.
There you go.
But that's not my pick. I'm not saying that's my pick.
Game over.
I'm not saying that's my pick. Hold on.
He's talking through it. Let him go.
So, okay,
Dang
obviously Star Trek Frontiers is the one that I picked. That was my second pick, I believe. And I probably would have picked Star Wars Rebellion as the first choice, as the very first thing that I would have picked if it had been available. So now I'm looking at it through the lens of Star Wars versus Star Trek. I was a Trekkie before I was a Star Wars fan.
Oh, wow.
Really?
I mean, I grew up watching Star Wars, but I didn't really get into Star Wars until high school, reading the books and comics and things like that. But Star Trek I got into in 5th grade. Wore a bald cap. I've told this story before on the podcast. Wore a bald cap to be Jean-Luc Picard and a Star Trek uniform to 6th grade reading class because we were reading a teleplay from an episode of Star Trek, and I was mercilessly made fun of, and I didn't care.
I love it.
And then Star Wars probably eclipsed Star Trek for a good long while. And while there were many things I liked about the recent trilogy, I feel like in a lot of ways Star Wars has waned for me in the last several years. And
a little bit.
Recently, I've been watching a lot more Star Trek, watched Picard, I've been rewatching Voyager. This is a good faith pick for Star Trek Frontiers based on the IP. I feel like I'm 51% Trekkie and 49% Star Wars.
Wow.
So it's an IP-based pick,
It's an IP-based pick.
Die roll.
Oh, don't you remember the extended universe? You've read all the books before they destroyed the canon. How good were those books?
But that's the problem. They're now they're legend. They're no longer canon. So that's an argument against.
But I love those books so much. I was right there with you. I read all those. I read all the comic books. I was following them up. I mean, at that point, they'd all had kids, and they were moving through, and but man, okay, I respect it. I respect the pick.
I can't believe we're already in a situation where Star Trek or Star Wars Rebellion might be kicked out of this thing already. First round, first matchup.
I know.
This is
crazy.
Crazy. Internet breaking scenario again.
You are the neutral party, so pick.
Rebellion's 1 through 3, and Frontiers is 4 through 6.
Oh, please be 1 through 3. All right, here we go. Oh my gosh. This is how you know that I do not fake the dice roll.
Wow.
Because it was a 5.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Son of a gun.
You should have known that die is weighted 5s. We already went through this earlier.
We did. Dang it.
Wow.
Man.
That's an upset. I think that's an upset.
That is an
right there.
upset.
Yeah.
That is an upset.
That
First
hurts.
pick is Star Wars versus Star
The
Trek.
number one
already.
overall pick went out with like the 9th, 10th pick somewhere.
No, 5th pick. Yeah, 5th pick.
Oh,
High-
5th pick.
high
It was 5th
seed,
pick.
yeah.
It was still pretty
It's
high.
still a
You're
high
right.
pick.
Wow.
But it is a bracket buster for sure.
Ooh,
Absolutely.
that hurts.
Wow.
Man. That changes everything.
I'm going to play Star Trek Frontiers solo this weekend to celebrate.
There
It
you
deserves it. It deserves it.
Just so you know, I'm voting against it every time.
That's fair.
Barbie gets up there, I'm voting
That's
against
fair.
it.
Uh-oh.
That's
It's
fair.
starting now.
This is how
All right.
Barbie, Queen of the Prom, is going to win.
Yeah.
Between
Exactly.
the collusion and
Oh,
That's
this is gonna
awesome.
get ugly. I love
Okay. Moving on to the next matchup. We have Thanos Rising versus Walnut Grove. Oh my.
What the heck?
Huh.
Sorry, Kathy. Sorry I don't have a vote because at least Walnut
Yeah.
Grove would have a chance.
I know. Oh well.
Go ahead,
It's okay.
Kathy. You
Yeah,
lead
Kathy,
off
your
this
first,
time.
Your first pick. Your first vote.
Well, this was my heart vote. This was my Euro vote. This is my only chance to get my love of the game in there. So I have to go with Walnut Grove, even though it's probably not going to make it.
All right. There you go. And Alex, you're next.
Kathy, it will have no worse than a 50-50 shot. Not because of our alliance, which I still hope you maintain at some point, but because I have not played Thanos Rising, and I also have no desire to really try and play Thanos Rising.
oh, you'd like it. You would enjoy it.
Would I like it,
Yeah,
though?
you would. You would.
Ah.
It's fun. You would enjoy
My
it.
heart, though, is a little more on the Euro-y side sometimes. And also, I know Abby, my fiance, is a big Little House on the Prairie fan. And for those reasons, I will
Oh,
give my
no.
nod to Walnut Grove.
Thank you, Abby.
That's awesome. All right, Sean, what do you got?
Yeah, it's going to be Thanos Rising. I think if anything else, I have in the last 10 years become a bigger Marvel fan than a lot of other stuff. I was not a big Marvel fan growing up. I was more about DC, but what they've done with the MCU is just a masterpiece. I just
yeah.
rewatched Endgame for probably the 8th time this weekend.
Wow.
Ugh. So yeah, Thanos Rising. It is a trashy game. Matthew, they hate it, but they love it. I hate it, but it's great, and you've got this big chunky Thanos in the middle. Ugh. That's kind of redundant. Thanos is a chunky dude, but the toy itself, it's got a good toy factor. Oh, the toy factor, Alex. There's a great toy factor. You love toy factor.
You look, I made my vote already. You can't change my vote.
So yeah, Thanos.
I'm listening
Thanos
though.
Rising.
I am listening.
So yeah, it's a ton of fun, and it's actually not a terrible game underneath it all. But for whatever reason, it's greater than the sum of its parts.
Very good. Okay. That's 2 for Walnut Grove, 1 for Thanos Rising, and it's down to you, Gerry.
So I think I'm gonna do this, and I'm gonna do this so that way because I like Star Trek Frontiers. So I'm gonna do a hate draft against Thanos Rising, kind of just push it in
already?
Sean's face.
Whoa.
But then that way I will wipe it clean,
Okay.
and we'll be
Fair
good.
enough.
We'll be even. And if the matchup is right, I won't vote against Star Trek Frontiers
Okay.
at this point. So yours is not moving on. Walnut Grove makes the second round stupidly.
Wow.
I'm so happy.
It is that kind of game.
I kind of feel I'm gonna be a little bit out of my element by doing a sports analogy. But I kind of feel like that
Okay.
was Thanos Rising doing a sacrifice fly. So Star Trek
Yeah,
Frontiers.
yeah.
could-
Yeah, that is great. Yeah.
That's a pretty good analogy.
That's a good analogy.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
I have some sports knowledge.
Sports ball. What?
Look, if you ever do a board game deathmatch, sports-based games, I'm all about it.
I got some.
Yeah, that's another one where, I mean, it can be difficult sometimes. There are a lot of good ones out there, but there's also a lot of bad
Not
ones.
a
out
bad one.
What's the name of your racing game? The horse racing game.
there. Oh, Homestretch? That's
Homestretch.
fantastic.
Homestretch, and then Camel Up. I mean,
Camel
you got
Up's
those
really
kind of
good.
games.
Yeah, yeah. All right, we better move on here. On to our third matchup. We have Star Wars Outer Rim versus Star Trek Fleet Captains, and it happened again.
Wow.
Star Wars versus Star Trek.
Wow.
Alex, you get first pick.
Oh, well, I mean, one of these is my pick. But it's not a pick based off of having actually played the game or really knowing that much about it, if I'm honest. I also don't know anything about Star Trek Fleet Captains, so if this is allowed within the rules, I would like an explanation on what this game is and why it's any good. Because I'm open. I'm not set or locked in on either one of these.
I think that's well within the rules.
Has anybody else played this? Or is it just me?
I have not.
Okay, well, I'll just throw it out there. I'd call it a sandboxy style, asymmetrical game where you're just trying to complete either objectives or bounties or whatever you decide to build your character around. And you can play as a lot of different famous characters in the Star Wars world. So if you love Star Wars, then this is right up your alley. And you get to visit planets. You get to see other characters. You get to have side jobs. Sometimes you get attacked by Imperials and you have to dump your cargo, which is very much like the Han Solo thing there. It's a lot of fun. It really is. Then Star Trek Fleet Captains, which is also one that I play quite a bit of. That if you love Star Trek, you have each individually named ship, and that's really cool. And have a hexagonal board that's all been pre-laid out. And if you're the Federation, you're definitely going after those science missions. If you're the Klingons, you are going to attack some people and take them out. If you're the Romulans, you're going to do some sneaky stuff, and you're going to underhandedly try to, keep people from completing their missions. It's also a fantastic game that I would play. I'd play either of these games, frankly. So there's my two best pitches, staying fairly neutral.
Off of that description alone, and based on what I'd rather play between those two, Star Wars Outer Rim gets my vote.
Yeah, I can see
Right
that.
on.
So I think for me, it's going to be Fleet Captains. We've got the weight of the IP, but also I haven't played Fleet Captains. I was thinking of something else, but it's still in the same vein as like Starfleet Battles, Federation Commander, that kind of stuff, which I've really enjoyed, and I really dig like space naval warfare tactical gameplay. So yeah, it's gonna be Fleet Captains.
Nice. All right, Gerry, where do you?
This is actually like the toughest one I've had because I am fond of both these games. They're completely different. I mean, like you said, one's just straight up space battle, try to complete objectives. The other one, you're playing as an individual with a ship and you're trying to complete objectives. And there's honestly very little interaction between the people, between who you're playing against. You're just out there trying to do things. Sometimes you run into people, sometimes you'll battle them, but for the most part, you're staying away from them.
Can I ask which is which, what you're just describing there?
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry. The Star Wars Outer Rim is the one where you're not really interacting with the other people much. You're more interacting with the elements on the board. Star Trek Fleet Captains, I feel like there is more interaction between the people once you get far enough into exploring the universe. Because initially, you're in your own little home world, and you don't actually see each other. But, can I roll a die on this? I think I'm going to roll a die on this.
That's allowed, sure.
That's highly unorthodox.
Yeah.
All right, fine. I'm rolling a die, though. All right, so Outer Rims goes on, or for me, my vote.
Okay. That's 2 for Outer Rim, 1 for Fleet Captains.
I'd get that die ready again. I would get that die ready again.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I think I would, yeah.
Okay, so obviously you know that I'm a Trekkie, so and this is also my pick. But I did some research on this game today, and it looked like something I would love to play. Just looking at the theme, it was the little enterprises were amazing, and you can be all these amazing characters, and like they have every character you can think of. They have Q, they've even got Tribbles. They've got everything. So because of just knowing the IP that well and loving the IP that much, I'm going with Fleet Captains.
Cool.
There you go. It's tied 2-2. So we're down to another die roll. I think for this one, let's go reverse. Let's go Fleet Captains is 1 through 3. Outer Rim 4 through 6.
It's a 5. It's coming up a 5 again.
No, 2.
Coming up a 6.
I'll take it.
Dang it.
There you go. Outer Rim moves on.
We tried, Sean.
Oh well.
Okay, this next matchup is going to be, this is going to be crazy. It's going to be a knockdown, drag out. I feel it already.
I have a feeling it won't be, just based off of this setup.
It's going to be Barbie, Queen of the Prom, the dice game, versus
Wait, it's not.
Legendary.
Wait. Don't throw extra words in there. It's not a dice game. It might have dice in it, but it's not called the dice game.
I'm sure there's roll and move in there somewhere.
Probably. Oh, almost certainly.
Yeah. But its competitor is Legendary, a Marvel deck building game.
Oh.
So,
Wow. Yeah, that wasn't a good matchup for Barbie.
Can I make my case first before I'm last in the voting order? But
I think that's only right. This will be all that you will get to say about Barbie, so go ahead.
in this delightful game from 1960, you are Barbie. Everyone is individually Barbie. You win if you're the first player to be crowned Queen of the Prom. However, in order to win, you must first complete a quest where you maintain a steady boyfriend, you acquire a prom dress, and you become elected president of a school club.
Wow.
Midge, Skipper, and Ken all make appearances in this game as well.
This
Oh
would
my
never
gosh.
fly today. I'm just saying. It would never fly today.
I mean, it flew in 1994 when they reprinted it with the same art.
It's the
Wow.
same art.
One of the steady boyfriends you can get in this game is Poindexter. It has a little element of heartthrob to it.
You know entirely too much about this game.
I may or may not have bid for this on eBay about a half hour before the show. So.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Did you win? Do you know?
No, I mean, I'm bid on it. The auction doesn't end until Monday. So by the time this
okay.
episode drops, I will have won or lost said auction for this game.
Wow.
Wow.
What did you
Okay.
set as your bidding limit?
Well, the shipping on it was $11.55. And I said I wasn't going to pay any more than $40 for this.
Oh my gosh.
That's my case. I have made it.
Okay, so here's what I'll say. First off, Barbie, Queen of the Prom, I find offensive. Because
Amen.
it's Barbie, Queen of the Prom, not Barbie, Prom Queen. Like, the syntax is just weird. Like, Queen of the Prom sounds like Queen of the Damned or something. Why is it not Prom Queen? Prom Queen it flows off the tongue, and that's what we're used to hearing. So that's the strike against Barbie. Then, in support of Legendary, it's Marvel. All right, big check in its favor.
Mhm.
Also, Marvel Legendary was the very first birthday present that Raquel bought for me.
Oh, wow.
We had just started. We'd been dating a month, and she bought it. We were Active Imagination. She bought it for me for my birthday. So yeah, it's got to be Legendary.
All right.
could go a long
Sentimental
way.
value.
Yeah.
All right, Gerry.
I heard you, Alex. I did. I listened. I was intrigued. It reminded me of the Nintendo Barbie game that my sister got. It was the one game that she would try to play, and she was horrible at it. It's also equally terrible, and I didn't enjoy it. I'm gonna have to go Marvel Legendary because of basically everything.
Kathy, may I remind you of our alliance?
Oh, you know this was her pick, though.
That's her
This is
pick.
I don't care. I'm still reminding her of our alliance. She can do with that information what she will.
Oh, this is terrible. Oh my gosh, you're killing me, Alex. Oh.
Kathy didn't even like Barbies when she was a kid.
Give in to your hate. Do it.
Yeah, I was a tomboy. I didn't do that. I played with Hot Wheels, dude. Oh my gosh.
Break the alliance.
Don't hate me, Alex. Please don't hate me, Alex.
Oh,
And please
man.
don't hate me, Abby. I'm so sorry. I have to go with Legendary. I'm so
There
sorry.
it is.
It is finished. It is finished.
A pox upon your house, Kathy.
Oh no.
In all honesty, what kind of designs did you really have on Barbie making it past the first round?
I was hoping. I mean, I'm looking at the matchups and seeing who. Like, okay, what's the scenario? Which of these would it? Let's see. Maybe Batman Love Letter. I might have had a chance against. That's possible.
No.
No.
No. Look, I just
Yes.
need to pull. I just need to
Yes.
pull. So there you go. I just have to get it to a die roll. That's all I have to do. So Batman Love Letter would have done it.
That's a good point.
Let's see. Okay, if I had gone up against Villainous, I might have, for the sheer sake of comedy, just swapped my own vote and seen if that could have worked. But I don't think that would have happened. So I think it was maybe a 1 in 15 shot that this would have worked. So
There you go.
And
There
then
you go.
and then a 1 in 2 shot after the 1 in 15 shot. 1 in 30, says Matt. Anyway.
So can we assume then that your vote in this particular case, for the sake of stats and things like that, would be Barbie?
No, that would be a terrible vote.
Wait a minute.
So it's legendary for the sweep.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, that seems about right.
Oh my goodness. That was good comedy though. I got to give it to you.
That was
Very
great.
nice.
Dave, you're working on a stat sheet, aren't you? You were saying
I
that
am.
to me yesterday. That's
I
pretty
am.
awesome.
You know, it's not as easy as you might think. I used to know some Excel, but holy cow, I'm rusty.
I can help you.
Oh, well, good deal. All right, well, let's move on to our next matchup here. We have Firefly, the game, versus
Yes.
Marvel Champions. Goodbye, Firefly.
Oh, no,
Oh.
Firefly.
Oh.
Oh.
And we are back to Gerry being the first vote.
All right, so here's the deal. Firefly the game. It's a great romp through the galaxy trying to keep your crew alive. I mean, we can all agree on that, right?
Sure.
And I don't know about you guys, but I'm excited to play Marvel Champions, but I have not had a chance to do so yet. I have a feeling it's supposed to be a very good game, but I haven't played it yet. I've watched a couple reviews, and I'm ready to buy it once the quarantine is over. But for the sake of the IP, because there is no better IP than Firefly, in my opinion, I'm going to have to go with Firefly.
Wow. You know what? I'm starting to wonder now. Kathy?
You should, because Sean is an interesting swing vote in this case.
Oh, man. Kathy, your next vote?
Actually, so am I kind of.
Oh,
because
no.
This was one of my
Wait a minute.
picks before I got taken.
Yeah, Marvel Champions is your pick.
I know, but Firefly was
I
one of my
know.
top picks.
But wait, you could have picked Firefly in the spot when you picked Marvel Champions if you wanted that to be your...
I had to go Marvel Champions first. Come on. So,
Well, yeah, in most other matchups, Marvel Champions might run away with it. I don't know. That's what I'm saying. This is the one that's the IP could be the draw. Go ahead, Kathy.
as much as I love Firefly, go Jane, Marvel Champions.
All right. Alex.
I enjoy Firefly a lot too, but from having seen Firefly set out on the table and having played Marvel Champions, I know for a fact I like Marvel Champions as a game better than I like Firefly as a game. So Marvel Champions gets my vote as well.
Interesting.
Okay. Alex. You can either tie it up or take it home.
Sean? I think you meant Sean.
Oh, sorry. I did.
Sean.
Sean,
No
you can
worries.
either tie it up or take it home.
This is between Alex and Alex, the new Dukes of Dice, where I talk to myself.
So that would make it 30%, right?
Yeah. 20, 26, 20, I don't know, some number.
So I do love Firefly. You can't take the sky from me. But I'm not crazy about the game. I don't really like the big sandboxy games like this, like Zaya, and even Outer Rim, Star Wars Outer Rim. And then Marvel the Marvel card game, the Marvel deck building.
Champions.
Champions.
Jeez. I've literally only played like 60 games of it. You think I'd be able to remember the game. But no, it was one of my top games of last year. It's fantastic. So the IP is good, and it's going to be Marvel Champions.
Excellent. Okay. Moves on 3-1. Everybody ready for the next matchup? We have Battlestar Galactica versus Batman Love Letter. And I think I know the way this is going. Kathy, your first vote.
Hold on. People like Love Letter, right?
I
No,
love
yeah,
Love
let him
Letter.
make his case. Make your case.
Yeah,
by
yeah.
all means.
All right. Come on. I mean, Love Letter, but Batman. It's good. That's my case. Go.
Well, that wasn't a very good plea. For one, I'm not a big fan of DC as much as I am Marvel. So, and
You would
I'm not really a fan of Love Letter either. So, for those two reasons, and I did enjoy Battlestar Galactica growing up. That was a pretty cool show. So, I'm gonna pick that game.
Very good. Alex.
One of the early favorites in the Duchy. One of the first games that I played with Sean in the early days. The game takes too long, but it is unbelievably thematic. And I've watched the first episode, and I wanted to watch more of it, and I didn't. But I plan to get back to it someday, because it's apparently really very good.
It's fantastic.
The game itself is dripping with theme. And I enjoy Love Letter. I've not played the Batman edition of Love Letter. But yeah, no, this is a no-brainer for me. Also, based on the case you just made, Gerry, I feel like Barbie would have had a very good chance against Batman Love Letter.
It would have. That was my throwaway pick. That was my tongue-in-cheek pick. And darn it, my two strongest picks have just been knocked out. Soon, I will be down to one pick.
Hey, not officially yet. Sean hasn't spoken, just 2-0. You're not done yet.
Okay.
Yeah, so, it's got to be Battlestar Galactica. One of what could have been my favorite television show of all time had it not been for a finale that was severely disappointing. But
It wasn't great.
I will say that Season 3, Episode 4, Exodus Part 2, is probably the best hour of television I've ever seen. Oh, I don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't seen it, but wow.
It is fantastic. I remember that episode. I could not agree with you more. The entire series is, if you have not watched it and you're a sci-fi fan in any way, shape, or form, shame on you for not having watched it. Do it now. I mean, you have no excuses, right? There's no excuses. Watch Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah, fantastic.
There you go.
Jerry, is it a sweep? You voting against your own?
Well, I will pull an Alex, and I will vote against my own. So Battlestar Galactica it is.
Anytime that happens, can you call it pulling an Alex from now on?
I most certainly will.
Absolutely.
Nice.
All right, the next matchup is Star Trek Ascendancy versus War of the Ring.
Oh,
And who do we have starting? It's Alex.
So, this will be another one where I'm not speaking from really any degree of experience. So I feel like I need a case to be made for each. Sean, what is the case for War of the Ring? Assuming you'll argue for that one eventually.
It's going to be a tough one. So War of the Ring is this, well, they're both these big sprawling games. War of the Ring, you are recreating the entire Lord of the Rings trilogy. There are elements where it's a war game where you're fighting, down in Gondor. There are elements where it's an adventure game where you're moving Sam, Frodo, from the Shire to Mount Doom. It is the combat system's excellent. Battle of the Five Armies is just the combat, which they pulled from it, and it's been in the top 20 of BGG for a long time now, and it's a great experience. I think you would dislike both of these games to a certain extent because of the play length. But it's really good.
Gerry, make your case and hope it's better than Batman Love Letter.
It will be much better than Batman Love Letter. I thoroughly like this game. If you're a fan of Star Trek, then this is a game you should probably play. The only downside to it is its length, but it has every single race that comes out. Like, for instance, Kathy, when she played our game, she played the Ferengi. And instead of them having the standard ways to win, they didn't have any culture at all. Instead, they had to basically get production, and they would buy their culture, which was just one variation that they had. The Federation is more diplomatic, and they don't like to fight. If they need to fight, obviously they're able to. And of course, the Klingons, which is another one that we played, they are just straight up looking for a fight. They're looking to slam somebody in the face and have a good time with it. The coolest part of this game, I think, is the asymmetrical board. So instead of having hexagons, which tends to be the standard for these kind of 4X games, or just having an open board that is just pre-laid out, you are exploring space, which is, kind of a Star Trek thing to do. 5-year mission and all that. So you are going out and you're rolling a die to see how long your space lane is, and you're pulling a planet off and you're plopping it down. And then these planets can rotate and connect to other planets, and you're essentially creating your board right there on the spot.
Yeah.
It was it actually became kind of a strategy. If I place a second space lane here, then that will freeze that planet in place, which means he can't swing his planet over to me and connect those two planets together. So it becomes like the strategy of like, I want to keep this area safe, so I'm going to make sure he can't connect these up. And it's a whole different way to play this game. Like I said, the only downside is that it is a little bit of a longer game. But in terms of theme, I think it's the superior game. They've played every single race, and they've made sure that they're extremely thematic.
Okay. That's a much stronger case. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
I have a rules question, David. Am I allowed to abstain?
I don't think so.
Oh, no.
I don't think we can allow that. No.
Okay,
No.
fair enough. My vote, off of description and off of enjoyment of theme, will go to War of the Ring. It will
All
go to
right.
War of the Ring because I enjoy Lord of the Rings more, and honestly, we would have way too many Star Trek games up in here. So I'm done with it. I'm done with it. War of the Ring is my vote. We'll see how it goes from here, though.
Okay, Sean.
So this is tough. I have yet to play Ascendancy. Like I mentioned before, it's been on my shelf of shame. I very much want to play it. War of the Ring is my pick, and definitely, I love Lord of the Rings. I have a lot of fond memories of War of the Ring, so I think the fact that I've played it and it's a known quantity for me, I swear I'm trying to make this good faith vote, and not just because it's my pick. I'm going to go with War of the Ring, and
Okay.
I think it is incredibly thematic. I think in the same way that you describe Rebellion as Star Wars in a box, War of the Ring is Lord of the Rings in a box.
Yeah. I would be very interested, Sean, to find out once you have a chance to play Ascendancy if it may have changed this vote. Very interested to know that.
Yeah, and it's very possible. I'm sure I'm going to enjoy it quite a bit.
All right, Gerry, it's your vote, sir.
Well, you siblings, Dave, Kathy, you guys thoroughly enjoyed it. Your only complaint was it was a long game. We started it on an evening board game session. Really, it needs to be a Saturday morning board game session that probably we eat lunch and then we finish it sometime in the late afternoon, maybe the evening.
Especially on your first play.
You're correct. I thoroughly love this game, but I think we all had a great time with it. I haven't played War of the Ring, but it sounds like a game that I would also love. But also, I don't want to get skunked in the first round. So I'm voting for mine.
All right, Kathy.
Okay. I need some more information from Sean. Can you tell me the style of genre, like what genre is War of the Rings? Because I don't know very much about it.
It's very Ameritrashy. I mean, it's very much an Ameritrash game. I think I call them both Ameritrash from what I know of Ascendancy.
Yep.
You're right.
But there's also some nice there are some Euro elements because there's a dice
Stop
there's
it.
a dice selection mechanic that for action selection that's very, very Euro-y.
But
Okay.
Kathy, you have the Star Trek theme. Give me a dice roll for God's sake, please.
I'm trying to be fair because, Gerry, I think you kind of spoke out of turn when you said that I really thoroughly enjoyed the game.
Well,
I really
you enjoyed the
didn't.
theme. You're right.
I love the theme. You are correct.
You hate all Ameritrash games with a passion.
Do not
I
like
get that.
4X games. That's just not my thing.
I know.
And this was like very 4X-y, and I just didn't. As much as I love Star Trek, I didn't care for the gameplay.
It's
So
funny
that's why
'cause
I'm trying to get a fair shake because I played this and I want to make sure that I'm being fair to War of the Ring before I make a decision. So,
all right.
is it 4X type combat, Sean?
Oh no, not at all. No, I mean you are playing out the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and so it's all kind of predetermined as far as like where the theaters are, the map. It's all there's not much of a sandbox element, which I would say 4X is a little bit more sandboxy.
Okay,
sort of.
For sure. Yeah.
Okay, knowing that. Gerry, I apologize, and but I have to go with what I think I would enjoy more, and it sounds to me like I would enjoy War of the Ring more than Ascendancy.
Can I virtually flip this table, please?
Sure.
That's all I want to do right now.
Go right ahead. Oh, man. That's
I love
great.
you, Gerry.
No, I don't want to talk to you anymore.
Kathy breaking hearts all over the place.
All over the place. She couldn't give me one roll just to see if I could keep one stinking game in? For real?
I want to do a simulated roll. 1 through 3 or 4 through 6.
Just for funsies.
All right. So I'll take 1 through 3 for Star Trek Ascendancy.
Roll it.
All right. It wasn't in the cards. That was a 4.
Oh, okay.
Well, now you know. Now you know it didn't matter, and you were doomed to fail anyway.
Yeah.
Apparently. Don't feel better, though.
All right, well, it's time for the last matchup
I don't want
in
to.
the Sweet 16. And the final two games, if you haven't deduced already, are Dune versus Disney Villainous.
Oh, no.
It's an interesting matchup right there.
That is pretty interesting.
And and you're leading off, Sean.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, I'm going to pick Dune. It's certainly my style of play. I enjoy area control and wargamey stuff. Politicking is something I enjoy in games quite a bit. So just from a game factor, this is a great game for me. Just a fantastic game for me. And then it's got the Dune IP, which I said before is my absolute favorite IP of all time. I have read the first Dune book at least 15 times.
Wow.
Read it the first time in 7th grade. So much went over my head. And I read it almost once a year. I've read the entire original 6 books. At least I've read probably close to 10 times.
Wow.
I love Dune. And every great sci-fi that's come out since has borrowed from Dune. Star Wars has a ton of Dune in it. Star Trek pulls quite a bit from Dune. Dune came out in 1965. Star Trek came out, 66? And Roddenberry's talked about, Dune and things like that. So I'm very excited for the new movie that's coming out this year. There's just so much. Every time I reread the Dune books, I rediscover new things. It's very comforting. And plus, the 1980s David Lynch movie is a terrible adaptation, but I enjoy it on its own as its own little weird cult classic thing. It's so weird. It's such a weird, trippy movie, but it's its own kind of goodness. Kind of like Starship Troopers. The book and the movie are two very different things, and I love them both for different reasons.
All right. That is a well-articulated argument. Gerry, what say you?
All right. So Dune is one of those I've been meaning to read for years because I love me fantasy. I love me some fantasy. Love me some sci-fi. They're my favorite things to read. I'm always got an audiobook in my ear these days if I can't physically read a book. So you were just so convincing about that I am going to be downloading the Audible book for it.
Awesome.
And I'll start the Dune series as soon as I finish the book I'm on right now, which is the Ascendancy series from crap, can't remember his name. Whatever.
Well, that's great, man. What's your vote?
I know. All right. So my vote, stay on target. Stay on target. All right. My vote is for my wife, Disney Villains.
Oh, I was going to say, is she a big Dune fan? That's great.
All of that to say Disney Villains.
Oh, that was funny. I thought for sure
All
you
right,
were going to
Kathy.
say Dune. Okay. From the sound of the game that you were describing, and how Dune is played, I don't think it would be something that I would enjoy. And I haven't played Villainous either, but I have a feeling that I would probably enjoy that more. So I'm going to pick Villainous.
Definitely more your style. Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex.
I didn't even have to lobby for an alliance. I thought this was going to be a 2-2 thing, ultimately. Gerry, by the way, already making headway on getting that book on his Audible account. Nicely done. as we record.
You can make it a 2-2 thing, even though it's your pick.
Sure, yeah.
This could be like, Sean, I know how much Dune means to you. And this would be the ultimate ducal sacrifice.
Now, Sean.
Yes.
Were the roles reversed, and there isn't an IP that I care enough about where the roles would be reversed, but were the roles reversed, would you make such a sacrifice?
But that's, I don't know. I don't know.
Touche.
Because here's the thing. Is there an IP you love to that extent?
No,
I don't think
for
so,
sure no.
Right?
You have a tattoo of Dune, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I have a tattoo. My one and only tattoo.
Well, let's see it. Wow.
It's the Atreides crest. And I should have led with that. It's the Atreides crest. It's the only tattoo I have. The only thing that I've thought I have any interest in. I would also point out, you mentioned earlier, Alex, that I typically gravitate towards the bad guys. Dune is the only IP where that's not the case.
Interesting.
And yeah, I have Greek. It's written in Greek because the Atreides are Greek descended. And it says, "Here I am, here I remain" in Greek. Ego Emi Ego Hodo, I believe it is.
Nice.
So let me speak to the Dune side of things, because I borrowed the book and I read the book and I love the book.
Yeah.
Fantastic book. Gerry, I think you're really going to enjoy it, not knowing your taste in books at all, but guessing you probably will. I've been meaning to read the rest of the series. I've heard up until a certain point. Basically, Sean, when you said when his son took over, it kind of drops off in quality.
I prefer the original 6 that Frank Herbert himself wrote.
Okay. So I need to get on that. I need to get into numbers 2 through 6. I want to read it. They're enjoyable. I'm also in the middle of the Red Rising series of books, another fantastic set of books if folks are into sci-fi. That being said, game-wise, it's not even close. Like, I don't want to play Dune. I don't at all. Not a chance. Not happening. I enjoy Villainous a lot. They did a fantastic job with the theme, making these characters feel like themselves. They're these really entertaining villains. I played as Jafar the time I played this most recently. Dig it. Sorry, Sean. I'm going to have to break your heart. Dune is going to have to go sit on the sidelines.
Okay. All right.
There you go. 3-1. Disney Villainous moves on. And we have our Elite Eight. So,
All right.
yeah, I think we're just going to turn right around and jump back into this. I will tell you guys that I'm doing a much better job right now of keeping stats as we go. Typically, I'm really bad at that, but I'm getting better. So I appreciate you guys for having us on so I can practice my board game deathmatch skills.
Of course. Happy to help. That was the entire point of this, by the way.
That was what I was thinking, No. So our first matchup in the Elite Eight is going to be Frontiers versus Walnut Grove. Walnut Grove, come on! It's gonna keep plugging away. I guys have a good feeling about this, and we are back to Gerry leading us off.
I'm still deep in the throes of depression, so I'm going to go with I don't care. No.
You're going to take your ball and go home?
I am. I'm going to. I'm so mad right now. No. I'm going to go ahead and say that Walnut Grove sounds interesting, and I might give it a play if you guys ever brought it over, but I'm going to go with Frontiers.
There you go.
Pretty simple.
Okay. In the interest of being fair, I have no idea what Frontiers is about, so would someone like to explain to me how the game plays?
Oh, you're picking Walnut Grove. Come on.
No, I'm trying to be fair.
So it is, I mentioned before, it's basically a reskin of Mage Knight. So it's an adventure game, but it's not, I wouldn't call it a 4X game that you might typically think. You are going on missions. So in Mage Knight it would be quests, but here you go on these different missions. There is an exploration element, and it's an interesting. It's a hand management, or it's like a deck building system built into it. It's been a while, but it's really enjoyable, and I think it plays really well solo.
Okay, that was a very eloquent description. Good enough for me. But I think I'm going to have to go with Walnut Grove.
So it wasn't good enough.
No, I'm saying he did a good job. It just doesn't sound like something I want to play over Walnut Grove.
Fair enough. Okay, Alex.
Well, this is a weird position to be in again. I haven't played Mage Knight. I haven't wanted to play Mage Knight. Sean, would I like Mage Knight?
Yes, because you're going to tell stories. You're going to tell way more stories than you would in Walnut Grove.
Okay, Star Trek Frontiers gets the vote. Simple as that. Okay. You knew how to sell me on it. I'm sorry. Hey.
Wait, what happened to the Alliance?
No, that burned down a long time ago. That house was lit on fire.
I already burned that bridge.
It is cinders. There are no alliances in board game deathmatch. So despite the fact that I'm not the biggest Trekkie, I have a feeling that the storytelling element of this, I'd like to try Walnut Grove. It sounds lovely, but no, I'll vote Frontiers this time.
All right, Sean.
Yeah, it's going to be Star Trek Frontiers. Absolutely.
Okay. There you go. Frontiers moves on 3-1. Next matchup. Star Wars Outer Rim versus Legendary. That's a good one.
Okay.
And Kathy's first to vote.
Well, I have to say I haven't played Outer Rim. I'm not super familiar with it. I have a feeling it's another one of those exploration type games. Is it another 4X type game?
Sandboxy. They were talking about it kind of being sandboxy, where you're like Zaya Legends of the Drift system, that kind of a thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I think for that reason alone, I'm going to have to go with Marvel Legendary.
Nice. Okay. Alex.
For me, just based on what I know I want to play, even though I gave my vote to Legendary last time over my beloved Barbie, Queen of the Prom game, I will switch over to my own pick, not because of any shenanigans, but because I genuinely want to try that. Just based off of the description that Gerry gave, that sounds like a lot of fun. Sounds like something I'd enjoy. So I vote.
Cool.
Lots of stories.
Yeah,
nice. All right, Sean.
Yeah, it's going to be Legendary. Already mentioned the emotional connection. It's got Marvel, and also I don't like the sandboxy element of Outer Rim as much. So
okay, all right.
This one's going quick. Jerry.
I'll make it simple. Star Wars Outer Rim. I do like Legendary, don't get me wrong.
Die
But
roll.
Dice
Outer Rim.
roll.
All right. So here we go. We have a tie. Let's do Legendary 1 through 3, Outer Rim
Okay.
4 through 6.
It's a 5 again.
Let's call it. It is a 4.
Yes.
These have all been really high. 4, 5, 6. Seems to be the way.
How is Outer Rim still in this and Rebellion's not? It's weird.
It's
weird
fun.
things
Oh,
are
man.
happening right now.
That makes me so angry. Don't even get me started.
All right, next matchup is Marvel Champions versus Battlestar Galactica. And Alex is first.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a rough one. This is a
Yeah.
rough two. We're gonna have a bad final, I think. we're gonna have a rough final. It feels like whichever one of these wins might win the whole dang thing.
That could be.
I don't know. It could be. Oof. I've played, and this is maybe the first time this entire tournament that I've played both games, which is pretty wild to think about.
Mm-hmm.
So, let me think about enjoyment factor. Marvel Champions did what it wanted to do really well. That swapping between an alter ego and a superhero and having different powers in both. The different scenarios presented. The different villains. The ways you can customize and deck build, though that's not really my thing. And then you have Battlestar Galactica, and you have this, are you a Cylon? Are you sure you're a Cylon? Did you not just become a Cylon midway through this game? Oh, you're a Cylon, and you're messing with our lives, and now we're completely hosed.
Best part of the game.
The vivid memories. I have stronger, more vivid memories tied to Battlestar Galactica, even though I've played it less recently. And I think if you were to ask me which one I would rather play in any given moment, I'm more likely to say Marvel Champions. But in terms of the one I love, that has that higher end level of experience for me, the edge for me would go to Battlestar Galactica.
Nice.
But it's a tough call.
This is going to get interesting. Sean.
Yes, it is.
I am very much struggling with this. This is
his squirming moment.
and I think you're right, Alex. I think that this could be the winner, whichever comes out of this. Wow. Almost everything you just said is I would echo 100%. I have such strong and great memories of playing Battlestar Galactica, even though it's been a while. Man, such dramatic, tense moments playing Battlestar Galactica. And then Marvel Champions has become this great new game that I can play a couple games of it in 45 minutes solo. I've really enjoyed it solo more than anything else. Cool. I'm going to give it to BSG.
Ooh.
And that's more of a heart pick. I will probably over my lifetime play more hours of Marvel Champions than I will BSG. Oh. And after
that's
you know
huge.
what's the sad thing is, after Red Skull comes, the Red Skull expansion, which is supposed to have more of a narrative feel to it, that could change. That could have made the difference between the two. But yeah, Battlestar Galactica.
Wow. Jerry.
All right, so
That's crazy.
oh man, that's rough. Okay, so let's just talk this out for a second. I have no horse in this race anymore, so I am pretty much non-biased
No, you
here.
do not.
You can't be bought? Is that what you're
Thank
saying?
you for that, Alex. I really appreciate that. Just rubbing it a little more. All right, so tell me this betrayal mechanism and how Battlestar Galactica, is it like you're playing over a large space, or is it inside the ships? Is it like, how does this work?
So if you're just talking the base game, you are playing on the Galactica itself, and then also on Caprica 1, the President's ship. And there are different sections of the ship that give you different actions. At the start of the game, you have your identities, whether as human or Cylon, that are secretly seated. And so however many players will determine how many Cylons there are initially. Mm-hmm. But then at a certain point mid-game, you're going to do another round of that where you could start the game as a human and then find out, aha, I was actually a Cylon all along.
Oh, it sounds like the kind of game I'd love to play.
And
You would love
okay.
it.
what's really cool is that there's this every round there's some sort of crisis that occurs, and you need to contribute certain color cards to overcome the crisis, and everyone has to contribute. And of course, as the Cylon, you're trying to sneak in cards that are going to go against that. So it's great. It's fantastic.
That sounds like Dead of Winter, that
Yeah,
little
very
mechanism
Dead of
there.
Winter.
Yeah, it's very similar.
Okay, all right. Man, that is a great sales pitch. And I do want to play Marvel's Champion, and I've watched a lot of videos on that, and I'm looking forward to that. But I love Battlestar Galactica, so I'm just going to go ahead and give it to Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, crap.
I can't believe I just did that. But you know what? If Star Trek Rebellion can't be in there, then neither can Marvel Champion.
Star Trek Rebellion, what?
Star Wars Rebellion. I'm getting tired.
I tell you
Star
what,
Wars Rebellion.
it's an honest mistake. Kathy, go ahead.
Yeah. So I love both IPs. I love Battlestar Galactica and I love Marvel. I have played neither game, but I do believe, even though it doesn't matter, I would have to pick Marvel Champions just because I think that it's an LCG, which I haven't played, but I've played Magic for a lot of years, and I know that type of game, and so I think that would be something that I would enjoy more than Battlestar Galactica, just the genre of game itself. So I would have picked Marvel Champions.
That is crazy, though. BSG just knocks out Marvel Champion.
And I no longer have a dog in this race either, Gerry.
I was going to say, this is an Alex and Sean showdown somehow.
Wow.
Every last team is Alex or Sean.
Yeah.
It is fitting.
Good job, guys.
Whew.
It is your podcast, so that's all good. It's all good.
And it's not like we put in weak picks. I mean, Marvel Champions
No.
and Star Wars Rebellion.
Yeah,
I would have, if I had had the chance, I would have taken Marvel Champions instead of Battlestar Galactica, even though I just voted for Battlestar Galactica.
Exactly.
Because I thought that would have had a better chance at winning.
Yeah.
Agreed.
So
Me too.
So had your pick been
Yeah,
Marvel?
fair.
So if the matchup were the same and your pick had been Marvel Champions, would you have voted Marvel Champions?
You'll never know. You'll never know for sure.
Oh!
All right, last matchup in the Elite Eight is War of the Ring versus Disney Villainous. And Sean is first.
Wow. I feel like Villainous is gonna take this based on what I've heard from previous rounds of voting. No, War of the Ring is just great. It's just fantastic. I mean, it's Ameritrashy, which most of these IP games are.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But it's a super tense, great way to recreate the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I mean, just so much iconic stuff and just great system. It's great. It's fantastic. So yeah, War of the Ring.
I'm not so sure it's going to go the way you think it is, Sean. Gerry, your next vote.
I'm going to stick with the one vote for my wife. So it's going to be the Disney Villainous. I'm going to stick with it. Because she does listen to these podcasts, and she will listen to this one because we're on it too. So even though she's not a huge podcast listener, but it'll make her happy, which makes me happy.
Okay.
Happy
fair
wife,
enough.
happy life.
That's what they say.
Good point. Good point. Kathy, your vote.
All right, so last round, I voted for War of the Ring against Star Trek Ascendancy.
Yeah, I remember.
However, now that it's paired up against a game that I know that I would enjoy more than that style of game, I have to pick Disney Villainous.
Oh, man.
Ooh.
Oh, boy. Oh, boy.
Oh, there's some competing things going on here right now. Because I've been tracking the number of picks left for each player very, very, very closely. And if I were to, I have the power to, with a vote, have three of the final four. Three of the final four.
Okay.
Which just based on how things panned out. Now, I will say though, while I enjoyed Disney Villainous and picked it, and it is probably more my style of game than War of the Ring. War of the Ring, based on the story you're telling and the kind of play you're going to have, I want to play that more in this moment at, say, a convention than I do Disney Villainous. I didn't love Disney Villainous. I liked it a lot. I thought it was really thematic and really well done. But it does have this thing in it with negative timing, where you're trying to kind of do everything you can to keep this person from winning. Then you try and do everything you can to keep this person from winning. And then it just kind of rotates around, and it's not my favorite way of playing a game. and the intrigue of something new. As someone who really enjoyed the Lord of the Rings trilogy, this is no guarantee this will work, but I feel like I wouldn't be pulling an Alex if I didn't pull the ultimate Alex.
Yeah, wow.
And put it to a die roll.
All right.
War of the Ring is my vote, and let the die fall where it may.
All right. War of the Ring is going to be 1 through 3. Villainous will be 4 through 6. Gerry,
It's a 5 again.
All right, let's see what it is. It's a 5.
Wow. Wow.
Should I switch dice? I feel like I should switch
I
dice.
feel like that one's broken. I really do. Oh my gosh.
It's loaded.
Okay. Final 4 is set for those of you who are keeping track and for those of you who are not. In no particular order, we have Battlestar Galactica, Star Wars Outer Rim, Star Trek Frontiers, and Disney Villainous.
How is this possible? I don't know what I'm doing. I don't like these kinds of games. Oh, man. Okay.
These are apparently the 4 best games based on intellectual property ever made. So there you have it. All right, so first matchup is going to be Star Trek Frontiers, Star Wars Outer Rim. There you go. Only one of those 2 IPs is going to make it to the championship match. Gerry, you're the first to vote.
I might be the lone vote on this, but Star Wars Outer Rim is my vote. It's a good game. Thoroughly enjoy it. And yes, it's open sandbox, but it also really sticks to the theme very well. Like, you get the flavor everywhere, and you always feel like you're on the run. You're trying to stay out of the reach of whatever faction you're currently against. I didn't even talk about this, but you have like a faction rating, just these 3 little sliders. And so, like, if you're good with the rebels, you'll be on a positive with them. But if you're bad with the Imperials, you might be negative, or you might be neutral with the other factions. I think it's the Hutts and Black Sun. And so you have to avoid certain people depending on what your current alignments are. And that they're changing throughout the game depending on what you do in certain missions. It's a very cool game. I don't know why I'm arguing for it, aside from I have nothing else to do. So Star Wars Outer Rim.
All right, Kathy.
Oh my gosh. Oh. I'm struggling because I just don't know. I think I'm just going to have to go with the 2 letters, IP.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have to go with Star Trek Frontiers.
Yeah.
Okay.
I thought you might. Alex.
Having not played either game, I'll have that same logic and same rationale and pick Star Wars Outer Rim.
There you go.
Oh, Sean, it's
Yeah.
down to you.
No, it's Star Trek Frontiers. I've already kind of indicated my lack of fondness for games like Outer Rim, and Star Trek Frontiers is my pick, and IP, and yeah, Star Trek Frontiers.
How fitting.
Let's see what the dice
That is
says.
very fitting. That's very fitting. We have Star Wars versus Star Trek, and rather than it being decided in a vote, it's going to be left to fate.
A die roll.
Left
Star
to fate.
Trek Frontiers will be 1 through 3. Star Wars Outer Rim 4 through 6.
Would you call this a duel of the fates?
Oh, jeez. Just roll the die.
I will. That is a 4, sir.
Wow.
I think literally every die roll, and I mean
Has been 4+.
literally, has been 4 plus.
Yeah.
It
It
has.
has.
Wow.
I keep waiting for it to go 1 through 3. And then I'm using the same die that we get nice randomization on every other time. So,
Well, sometimes random is not quite so random.
true.
And hence,
Good point.
it is random. I don't know what I'm saying. All right, the next matchup in the Final 4 is Battlestar
Getting
Galactica
tired.
versus Disney Villainous, and Kathy's first.
Battlestar Galactica. Man. Okay.
I know this is probably not a fair vote because I haven't played Battlestar Galactica, and from what I'm hearing, it sounds like a really awesome game if you like that kind of game.
But you don't like that kind of game.
But I don't like that kind of game, so I guess I have to be fair to myself and vote for the one that I think I'd like more, and that's Villainous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Alex.
Battlestar Galactica. Pretty simple. I enjoy that game a lot more than I do Disney Villainous.
Very good. Sean.
100% Battlestar Galactica. 100%.
Okay. Oh, Gerry.
I won't make this go to a die roll. I love the IP. So I'll pick the Battlestar Galactica because it sounds like a game I would thoroughly enjoy playing, frankly.
Yeah.
So
Sleeping on the couch tonight.
Megan is going to hate you.
Yeah.
sorry, Megan.
I'm calling her right now.
Okay, well, there you go. I honestly Would not have been surprised if the final ended up being Star Wars Rebellion versus Battlestar Galactica. But this is interesting. Outer Rim is in there instead versus BSG. And Alex, this is for the championship. You're the first vote. Plead your case.
Well, I don't need to plead my case because I'm pleading against myself. These are both my picks. However this happened, these are both
You're
my
a winner.
picks.
You're the big winner.
You have won.
I have won. I had won before. As soon as the die roll came up that Frontiers was knocked out, I had won.
Yeah.
Because Villainous was also
Very
my
true.
pick.
Yep.
So
Wow.
I'll go with BSG. Even though I think Outer Rim is one that I'll really enjoy. I just haven't played it. I really want to, but I haven't played it yet. So I'll vote BSG.
All right, Sean.
Yeah, BSG, Battlestar Galactica.
Man.
I'll at least give it a little love. I'll go Outer Rim.
So
Okay.
no sweet, but I'm going to
Kathy?
go Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, wow. Could have left it to the die roll, but didn't. That
Oh.
does it. Battlestar Galactica is officially the best IP-based board game ever made. Actually, that's not surprising. It's really not.
No, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
does. It
Wow.
does. So there you
And
go.
Alex just killed us.
Congratulations, Alex.
He had so many picks.
And you know what's crazy? Out of my 4 picks, 3 of them were in the final 4, and the other one was Barbie. Who should have been in the final 4.
Oh, Barbie.
Sad Barbie didn't make it farther in the
I would have
matchup.
loved to make more Barbie arguments. I had some queued up.
It was.
The one you gave was pretty good, but I just don't know if you could have given a good enough argument for Barbie for her to make it past first round.
Part 2 was in defense of roll and move. In defense of roll and move.
Oh, my.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
You know what? I kind of want to hear that argument. I really do.
Would you be surprised if I said I hadn't prepared one?
No, I wouldn't. Oh, that's great.
Oh, this was a blast. Thank you
was a
so
lot
much
of
for bringing this game onto the show. It was amazing when I played it over on yours, and man, I had a ton of fun. Sean, I know you feel the same way.
No, this was great. I love drafting, right?
Right?
Drafting's always fun. And then
It is fun.
pitting things against each other is also fun. So yeah, by all means. So board together games. If people want to find you, what's the best way to do that? Best way to interact with all of you, etc.
Well, we have quite a few ways that you can get a hold of us. We do the social media thing. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Board Together. That's BOARD, the number 2, GETHER. So that's the handle on all 3 of those. We do have a BGG guild. It's number 3625, or you can just search up Board Together Games in the guild section. You can email us at boardtogethergames@gmail.com anytime with any questions, comments, concerns, constructive criticism, you name it. And we have a website, boardtogethergames.com, and we have the podcast. So it's available on all platforms. Just search it up. And if you have an opportunity, give us a listen, give us a 5-star rating, subscribe to it. That would be fantastic. You guys, thank you so much for having us on your show. I was talking earlier with these guys. I said, you know what? How do you know you made it in board game content creation? You go on the Dukes of Dice. And yeah, here we are.
So Alex, that means we made it from day one.
That's
You
right.
did.
Apparently.
That's right. Right away. They said, you make it on the Dukes of Dice podcast, you can make it anywhere. And then we
That's right.
started the Dukes of Dice podcast, and it was perfect. We kind of
There you
fulfilled the
go.
prophecy in a weird
You
way.
did. Self-fulfilling.
Yeah.
Self-fulfilling.
Look, it's not every day people get the privilege of being on a formerly Golden Geek nominated podcast. So, soak
I
it in.
didn't see your name on there, and that really stinks.
No, it's funny. I didn't see it either. It's some sort of weird omission. We're asking for a recount, but it's crazy.
You should. You should.
Yeah, we've already sent lawyers to Texas. So
Get them.
Oh,
No, thank you guys
awesome.
very much. Sean, I don't envy you the task of editing this with 5 voices in this podcast, but man, did we
Yeah.
have a good time. And
This
you
was
guys
awesome.
are always welcome to come on the show, on our show,
Absolutely.
whenever you want. I'm sure we'll work it out at some point in the future, do another death match over on our show. And you guys keep up the good work. We love what you're
Yeah.
doing. We listen all the time. It's fantastic.
Awesome. Can't thank you enough for allowing us to port the game over temporarily. So it was a
all
ton
good.
of fun, as mentioned. And I'm not just saying that because I smoked everyone.
You did.
You totally smoked us all. Wow.
Well, I wasn't in the race, but I will tell you that had I been in it, I probably would have performed just as well by not having anything show up in the top anything. So it's the same way over on our show. I have yet to have a game make it past the second round, I think. So, yeah.
Is there now a coin term for pulling a Gerry? Has anyone been skunked before?
I think it should be. I've never been skunked, but I'm the first one to be skunked in first round, so
Okay.
it
There
should
you
be
go.
called pulling a Gerry for sure.
Yeah, there you go. It's a thing. It's going to be one of the stats that we keep now. So for sure.
Awesome.
Perfect.
Who's pulled a Gerry?
I think that's as good a way to end it as any. Yeah.
All right, thanks you guys. We'll see you soon.
Kathy, Gerry, Dave, thank you very much. And go check out Board Together Games.
Thanks so much, you guys.
See you guys.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
Thanks again to the Board Game Deathmatch podcast. That's not their name. Thanks again to the Board Together Games podcast for coming on and bringing their game to us. Said it several times, but great folks. It was really cool that they were Dukes of Dice fans too. But yeah, that game was a blast. And I cannot believe, Sean, the result of that. I cannot believe that I had 3 of the 4 final 4 picking out of my butt. Just outright picking out of my butt.
Yeah, I realized after the fact I could have been a bit more strategic in trying to line up who my games are going to be going up against in subsequent rounds. And I feel like I should have done that.
Look, you finished technically second place because we were the only 2 who had anything in the final 4. So kudos to you, I guess. But I would not have placed money on myself winning this kind of a competition for this specific category.
Well played, Alex. Well played.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm surprised Villainous did as well as it did. I was starting to get worried. I was getting worried about Villainous then. I'm like, seriously?
I could have put it right there. I don't know. Anyway, no, I was thinking of something else. I'm getting scrambled up. It's late here too, Sean.
It's late. My poor Dune, though. My poor Dune.
I'm sorry. Heartbreaker, but come on. There's no chance I'm going to play that game.
Yeah, but you like the IP, so anyway. Well, let's wrap this episode up. But before we go, we need to talk about the runners-up for naming the episode. So let's hear what else the guild had to suggest.
Josh and Gerry came with Isolating Together, referencing the various friends we brought along on this for the board game Deathmatch. So, yeah, kind of referencing COVID, but also, that we were all in this together in this moment and, in this battle as a whole.
And then Don Gilstrap suggested Meeple Madness, which is kind of a play on the Sweet 16 March Madness, the tournament bracket system. So, yeah, good stuff. Good job, Don.
The Namefather, Steve O'Rourke, came with RIP, referencing the death in Deathmatch and the IP in IP-based games. Really clever.
Yeah.
Though a little bit tough to have that as a full-on title, maybe.
Yeah. And then Baker Mitchell suggested Flattening the Competition. A little COVID reference there with flattening the curve. And, of course, we're doing this whole tournament bracket. So, yeah, good job, Baker.
And Sean, our last pick is We Can't Resist a Song. So here's the thing. I know of the song The Girl from Ipanema. I may have heard the song The Girl from Ipanema, but I don't know the tune of it very well.
Okay.
Do you?
I do.
Could you sing this song? Okay. Now do that to the lovely lyrics that Paul G has written.
Okay. All right, let's see. Art and rules and gameplay are lovely. The geeks playing IP around. The geek. Hold on. Let me just start over.
No. You gotta muscle through.
Art and rules and gameplay are lovely. The geeks playing IP-orama get talking. After a 6-point scale, each one they pass on. We go, I think I lost it a little bit there at the end. It started out strong, and then it does this whole thing where it's like, okay, anyway. Yeesh.
I can't believe I got you to do that.
Yeesh. That's actually one of Mariah's favorite songs. She was listening to that like all the time, like a year and a half ago.
I've been listening on repeat to the song from Kenny Chesney, and I'm not a country guy at all, not even remotely. When the Sun Goes Down, his duet with Uncle Cracker.
Oh, okay. Sure.
Yeah. That's been on repeat for the past few days. That's how my brain works, Sean. I don't know how to explain it. Anyway. So this was an unconventional episode of the Dukes of Dice, huh?
Yeah. We're format gone. Sean singing instead of Alex.
Wow.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for episode 224. Thanks again to BJ for naming the episode The Devastation in the Duchy.
Oh, wait, one more thing with BJ.
Oh, yeah.
Congratulations to BJ. He has been hosting an awesome Facebook Live show, Gumbo Live, and they just hit episode 100 the other night. So big congrats to BJ. That show is awesome. Go check it out if you haven't already.
And also, we did forget to mention at the top of the episode, the Golden Geek nominations did come out.
Oh, okay. We kind of mentioned this. Yeah, we mentioned this in the death match, funnily enough. Yeah, we did. We were not nominated. We want to thank everyone out there that did nominate us. I will say, and not sour grapes or anything like that, I believe there were fewer nominations or nominees this year than in years past. We were definitely just the next one.
I'm sure.
Whatever that next one was. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there were 11 this year. I feel like there were 15 or 16 in the last couple of years. But anyway, there's lots of great podcasts that were nominated. So please, you can go vote for them now. And we encourage you to do so. We got a lot of friends that were nominated. So congratulations to all of them. But yeah, so it's fine. It's fine. Last year was our fault. This year is also our fault for not being a better podcast.
Last year was, hey, there's some plausible deniability. This year we have to just face the cold hard fact. The cold hard facts. Wow. Cold hard facts that we're just not that interesting or good anymore, Sean.
It's mix-ups like that, Alex, that probably cost us.
It's that lack of utter professionalism that just keeps us from breaking through as really one of the elite podcasts in this space.
I guess so. Oh, well. All right. Well, that's going to do it. Until next time, this is Sean.
And also Alex.
And Duke you later, everybody.
Thank you so much for listening to the Dukes of Dice. Today's episode was recorded in the Duchy on April 23rd, 2020. Our theme music provided by Carbohydro M from his Prime Legacy album. The Dukes of Dice are a proud member of the Dice Tower Network. For other great board gaming podcasts, check out DicetowerNetwork.com. And for all the latest in the Duchy, go to DukesOfDice.com. Find us on Twitter at Dukes of Dice. Join in conversations on our Board Game Geek Guild. Find us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thanks to our sponsors, Arcane Wonders and Game Toppers LLC. You can learn more about Arcane Wonders' fine titles at ArcaneWonders.com and find out all you need to know about Game Toppers at GameToppersLLC.com. We'll see you back here in 2 weeks. Until then, game on.